Hey everybody, it's Marley K. I want to wish you all a happy Friday first. We made it through another week. Yay for us. I want to talk to you a little bit today about the Hunter Biden um, and Tucker Carlson letter. Is really important for a couple of reasons. Because for the main reason is because Neely Fuller Jr. book describes how white supremacy plagues both sides. This is a perfect example of how we can't trust people in politics, regardless of what color they are, but especially if they are white. So Tucker Carlson apparently inquired about a letter of support or recommendation for his son to get into Georgetown University from Hunter Biden, which is President Joe Biden's son. Hunter Biden is alumni of Georgetown University, and I think he also worked there as an adjunct professor. But my point is, the point that I want to make is that in 2014, when this request was made, um, Joe Biden was then vice president under President Obama. And so I don't know if you remember all the hell and all the racist stuff that Fox News came out with towards President Obama. But, you know, Tucker Carlson apparently was not a friend of the administration. And you can't tell me that Joe Biden didn't know that they have these connections because they have to disclose these connections for lobbying purposes and whatever, just for security clearances. Like you have to know, you know, if you're that high up in the government and you get a security clearance, you have to share this information about your family members too, because they want to know who can be compromised. Um, so one reason this is interesting is because the Bidens clearly have a relationship with people who are anti-black, which we already know, but this is just another confirmation of that, and also how they work together to help each other get to the next level. Like they're going through the white supremacy channels to become, professional white supremacists. And so Tucker Carlson was asking Hunter Biden for help to help his son get into Georgetown University. And I don't know whether or not whether the letter of recommendation was ever given. Apparently, by this story, it was given because Tucker was thanking Hunter Biden. And I'm gonna put it up, share my screen so you can see it. And all right, so my screen should be sharing. So here, the pro-Trump lawyer Lynn Wood shared a screenshot on Telegram that he says proves Tucker Carlson and Hunter Biden have a buddy-buddy relationship. And so here's a picture of Tucker and Lynn Wood. Um, and so Wood posted a screenshot that says, um, basically proves that there's a friendship between Tucker Carlson and Hunter Biden, basically making Hunter Biden and Joe Biden look crazy again because you're supposed to be pro democracy and pro um, you know black people, and here you are affiliating with racists again. And not only um, does Biden's son have a connection or a comfort level where they um, communicate, it's the same type of sentiment we saw from Joe Biden. He's been friends with Robert Byrd, he's been friends with Strom Thurmond. He gave a sermon at Thurmond's funeral. He was friends with Mitch McConnell. He negotiates with Joe Manchin. So it's this consistent pattern that shows how um, no matter what they say to us, at the end of the day, behind closed doors, they're all buddy buddy and they wash each other's hands and backs and they work together to maintain a system of white supremacy. So I'm just going to show you here in this piece. It says the Donald Trump allied lawyer Lynn Wood claims that Fox News host Tucker Carlson and Hunter Biden, President Joe Biden's son, have a buddy-buddy relationship. On Thursday, Wood posted what he claims is a conversation between the two as proof. While it is unclear who originally posted the email exchange between Biden and Carlson, Wood uploaded the unredacted and unverified screenshot to his Telegram channel on Thursday night. It appears to show 3 emails between Biden and Carlson from 2014. Now, remember in 2014, Joe Biden was the vice president to then the first black president, President Barack Obama. So um, this shows that at least they had some type of connection and familiarity. So here it says neither Carlson nor Biden has confirmed the authenticity of messages, in which I don't expect Hunter Biden to say anything. He hasn't said anything about anything that has been in the mail, in the media about him thus far. And he's hotmess.com, but apparently he uses his father's connections in order to get into high places to do business to sustain himself. So it's just interesting how white supremacy turns on itself whenever it gets ready to reveal stuff when it's time. And this is one of those situations. So just take into consideration, these are conservatives having this conversation, outing one of their brethren in white supremacy, but it's for a reason. And what they're doing is demoralizing the Democrats and Joe Biden. So they're going to make it appear as though Biden is no different and no better and no less corrupt than Trump was, and how their families do things. So it's getting ready to start being a theme. And so all this stuff, they try to release some of it in 2016 and in 2020, but it didn't work. So they're going to be trying to release all this laptop stuff. Don't disregard any of it. You look at it and take it for what it is. But the main thing that you should be doing is considering the sources as well as the connections, because the connections are the things that are most important. So I'm going to go on in this story. So it says, in the exchange, Carlson appears to thank Biden for writing a reference letter to Georgetown University, which Biden attended, for his son, Buckley. Hunter, I can't thank you enough for writing that letter to Georgetown on Buckley's behalf. So nice of you. I know it will help. Read a message that, according to the screenshot, appeared to be sent from Carlson's personal Gmail account on November 12, 2014. Hope you're great and we can all get dinner soon. Tucker. The email continued. So, Wood's screenshot of the email chain also shows what appears to be a response from Biden a day later, which read, "Hey buddy, I need Buckley's CV if you have one handy. Thanks." So this just goes to show you how white people look out for white people. You don't always have to be the smartest or whatever when you white. You just gotta know somebody. And this is how the system of white supremacy stays intact, because this is what they do behind the scenes. This is not anything new. We've always known this was, a thing. But as it relates to our current president, it just shows how, even when he was in power as vice president, his son was working with somebody that was undermining the first black president. And, um, since President Biden has been elected, he's been blasted on several newspapers in the UK for being racist, and his emails have been published, voicemails, like all kinds of stuff from his laptops that he keeps losing. So we know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Hunter Biden doing the same stuff that his daddy does. His daddy taught him how to be the man that he is, and make no bones about it. So that was really interesting to me, but it's barely being discussed in the media because now is not the time to have those talks or those types of discussions. There's a lot of stuff going on. You got this Roe versus Wade discussion happening, which I also want to talk about um, because the Roe versus Wade issue is huge. Um, and while we may think it is not significant to us, it is significant because, as I said earlier, regardless of what happens, we're going to be impacted. The diaspora will be impacted globally. Um, but the Roe versus Wade decision is really about genocide, and it's about white power. And so I wrote about it the other day, and it's barely gotten any reads or traction because the algorithms are suppressing it. And so, one thing I hope you do, I want to remind you to like and share the videos. And don't just share them. If you watch them, make sure you put some words in the post before you share it, so that the algorithms won't just say, okay, this is a video from YouTube, and take the title of whatever my video is and suppress it and bury it, because that's typically what they've been doing. So it's getting really difficult to get information out to everybody. So it's really going to be important for if you watch and enjoy the new Black media and Black grassroots creatives who are trying to get the word out about what's happening on these white-owned media platforms. We need you all to help us get the word out, because a lot of this stuff is going to be really important for us to know, because not for just this generation, future generations. And I don't know if people realize this, but in 1973, Roe versus Wade was passed and became the law of the land. In 1974, Henry Kissinger created this basically food for birth control genocide program through some U.S. council, and they basically, white people are always concerned about population control, and this is one of those really eerie programs that they created in 1974, but it's still active today. And so say, let's see, okay, clear history. 1974, 2021. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to do my stuff. So for 47 years, this program has been instituted and used all over the globe. They use it in Nigeria, they use it in Latin America, they use it in countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh. And so these are the things that we don't typically hear about. But what I wrote about in my piece, I put supporting stories to go along with it for readers to check out, to show how white supremacy in the dominant society uses Roe versus Wade. They use it to gin up white people to get them, conservatives to vote against abortion in their own interest. They get white women to fight about having an abortion and killing babies, and then they get us to help And what we as Black people don't realize is that for every white woman that's allowed to have an abortion, some black person, or some Indian person, or somebody in Latin America, could be black, it could be Hispanic, um, Asian, Southeast Asian. They are forced to participate in programs for food that either require them to take contraception, sometimes it requires them to have abortions, participate in certain types of programs and plans like family planning, education, using some type of contraception. And sometimes it's, things that they don't even really realize that they're doing. Sometimes the birth control is introduced in food or with food. And so Henry Kissinger, who created this plan or did this study and concocted this plan, did so the very next year after Roe versus Wade, which says to me, and it's my opinion, but if you look at the evidence, 47 years, um, that they're concerned about the population. We know their numbers are dwindling. We know Black and brown people are still procreating, and we've overpopulated, or we've outpopulated white people. There are more Black and brown people on earth than there are white people. Yet white people dominate the entire globe with their systems, and they stay in power because they keep doing what Tucker Carlson and Hunter Biden doing. They backdooring each other to make sure they keep the pipeline of power in the hands of white people, in particular white men. But white women help. Don't make no mistake about it. White women help. And so, um, we have to understand the entire system of white supremacy. Voting for, Roe versus Wade, or voting for people who support it. Like every time we vote for that, we are voting for a woman or a mother or a family in Nigeria or Kenya or someplace else in the diaspora to be forced to take birth control, or um, participate in some program that may be against their culture, maybe against the nation's morals or religious beliefs, in order to get aid for famine or wars that were created by white supremacy in the first place. So it's like this vicious cycle, and we don't really understand how all these things are connected. So this fight about Roe versus Wade is about white power, and if white people are allowed to you know control who is on earth and who remains in power, we're still going to be dealing with the same issues that we're dealing with now. So, one of the things that I want people to do is read the story, because this directly impacts us. While you think Roe versus Wade is just about abortion, it's also about genocide, black genocide. And so even here in America, if you're not aware of all the different programs that the Health and Human Services puts out, religious and otherwise, about birth control, family planning, there's so much stuff out here y'all don't even know about. And I can't tell you everything. That's why I just tell you read. I'll give you some nuggets, but you gotta use your critical thinking skills and dig deeper. But eugenics is real. White supremacy is still practicing it. Depopulation is real. White supremacy is still practicing it. This Roe versus Wade, abortion, reproduction rights are real. And while you may see the small picture of, yeah, women can have abortion, take birth control, it's harming our people, you have to look at the big picture of how it harms black people globally, and how birth control is like literally changing a woman's reproductive system, so that we don't have children the way that we used to have children. We don't have as many children. And sometimes when we take birth control, it ruins our bodies. So because we are poor, because we don't have any alternatives, because white supremacy keeps us in a state of chaos and starving and war and just, you know, stuff that's just not even natural, we are not able to um, see the forest for the trees. And so this piece that I wrote, I'm really trying to get the word out about it because I need black people to understand. Like I said the other day, Roe versus Wade is not our fight. It's a fight. It's a white supremacy fight. We are hostages in the system of white supremacy, and so we can't be helping them. We can't counter racism and then be helping them, you know, uphold Roe versus Wade, which is countering everything that we're trying to do. So, if you have an opportunity to read this piece, I'm going to put a link in the description of the video so that you can read it. Please read all of these studies. You need to read about um, this NSSM 200. You know, I don't know if you know about Rex 84, King Alfred's plan. I guess it's just as bad as that, except for it's like, this plan has been active for 47 years. It's still active. And if we don't figure out how to detangle ourselves from these systems, we just simply continue to be caught up in these traps. So I want us to work really hard at doing a better job of supporting, you know, black grassroots media, the new media, black creatives. Another thing that I'm going to put in the video is a link to Steve Coakley and how he talked about, black leaders are financed by, white pockets. And that is another issue that we have. We're on YouTube. YouTube is owned by white people and controlled by, Indians. Uh, Now Twitter is. Um, Medium, where I write, it's owned and controlled, was created by the white guy who created Twitter. Um, and when I try to post stuff in other places, like I have my own site, black people don't go there because that's not popular. Um, I don't have the manpower or the money to pay people to put stuff out 24/7 so that it'll attract your attention, tickle your eyes and ears to drive you there. And that's the story for most black creatives. Those of us who do this, I don't get paid for doing this. I work and I have to do my other work. But when I do have spare time, I come here and I make videos and I sit down and I try to write. And it's not perfect, but um, I do what I can to try to inform people about what is going on that I know about. But fighting white supremacy is a team sport. We all got to get involved. You can't get involved if you don't know what's going on. And to know what's going on, we all got to learn how to read. We have to read more. We have to educate ourselves more. We have to understand how these systems work. We have to, um, you know, learn these evil people who are in positions of power, who are constantly coming up with ways to harm us. And so when you don't do that, you put a burden on other people. And we all need to do our part. Another thing that we need to do, in addition to educating ourselves, is starting to fund people who are doing stuff. And that is the biggest thing that white supremacy knows that we don't do. We'll invest in entertainment, we'll invest in food, we'll invest in buffoonery, but we ain't finna read nothing. We're not getting ready to do things that are for our betterment without corralling from white supremacy. And by the time we do get to the point where it's time to read, it's almost too late. So what I want us to do is start looking around at creatives that you can support. We can't be independent if our money have to come from the dominant society. And I know people, complain excuse me, they have their little cliques of people that they like and don't like, and this group is against that group. Well, I look at what people are doing, and I support people based on what they're doing. And folks don't like Tariq Nasheed because he's doing ABCD. The man is doing something, and it's more than I can say for other people. Some of y'all don't do nothing but say, "Well, what's the solution?" Well, why you need me to give you a solution? If you need a solution from me, that means you ain't doing shit. If I gotta tell you the solution, that means you don't even know what the problems are. I told you the problem, and you want a solution for the problem that I told you about. That's a problem, and I'm really irritated that we are at this point. It's almost like talking to babies and infants. We need to move on past the politics part because it's a whole other, type of warfare going on. We are having issues with, food in a minute. Not food being available, but food being contaminated. We got a different type of warfare going on, and I can't even move to it because we can't even get people educated and motivated to understand how the system works, understand politics, get in our roles, and then, do something that's helpful to us. Fund it, create it, fund it, support it, and then do the work. We won't even do that. So, because of that, I can't go on to the other stuff that I need to tell you about. And I got a lot of stuff that I need to talk about, but I just can't. Like, the mandate, is being dismantled, but how we are benefiting from that. Um, because the people who are fighting it are, I don't know how to say this without sounding the alarm, but you know, the ditch they dug for us, they're falling in, and so now they're trying to get out of the ditch, and we're going to benefit indirectly from the getting out of the ditch phase of this. So, the mandate is one piece, but the reason that these people are opposing this is not what you think. And I need to be able to talk to you about that. But I can't talk to you about that if you didn't get this first lesson. Like, I need y'all to really get to reading and understanding history and understanding that these people are in power now. They have been in power for a long time. And their plans are working. And every day you're distracted and not reading and not studying and not doing anything, it's another day their plan is in full motion and it's working, and we don't have anything to counter it. So, when you talk about Roe versus Wade, understand it's about black genocide, period. Understand it. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, that means you need to do some research and understand what I'm saying. I'll put some nuggets in my piece. I'm gonna put some nuggets in the description of this, but I'm not gonna be giving y'all everything because when I have to sit down and break this down to you to like a spoon fed level, I can't read and do the other stuff that I need to do so that I can tell you about new stuff. So and that's the same for a lot of the other creatives. You talk about Professor Black Truth, um, the Black Authority, Vicky Dillard. Like, we take time, we read, we find out stuff, we handpick things to talk about. And again, I try to talk about things that nobody else is talking about, which is why I focused on Roe versus Wade and why I talked about the infrastructure bill and the crime bill embedded in it, because nobody's talking about those things. Nobody's still not talking about those things. And that it's not that I don't want to talk about things that are popular, because when you're talking about things that are popular, that means you're distracted, because the things that are popular are things that the mainstream media and the dominant society put before us to distract us. So I need you all to, speed up. We don't have a lot of time to get this. After Christmas, it's 2022, and politics, in case you haven't noticed, It's already started. People are starting to announce they're running for governor and different offices. And so we got to start filtering out who's who, what's what. And if we know already these people are not good, then we need to scrape together our pennies and help people run for office and run grassroots campaigns and counter what is happening, because we don't have long before our little power that we do have is null and void. And then we're going to be trying to figure out how we're going to navigate this new system with these new white people that have been indoctrinated and that have assimilated into white supremacy. So we got a lot of work to do. And I just want you to understand that it doesn't matter what you see. You see Joe Biden, he's the same thing as Mitch McConnell. You see Tucker Carlson and Hunter Biden are friends. They helping each other get each other kids in school. It's a game to these people. Our lives is a game. The power to them is all they care about. And once they get it, they don't care about us. If you haven't seen that by now, I don't know what to say about you. You must be blind. But we can't continue to operate where we don't have a plan. We are not aware of these long term strategies that white supremacy created to harm black people, not just here in America, but across the diaspora. And I know, we got some issues, but people in the diaspora need to get up on it and get educated, because this system don't care about none of us. You can come here and turn your nose up at black people all you want, but while you here getting your check and living in your nice house and talking in your little circles, your diaspora circles of your choice, back home they're killing your people. So, are you really helping coming here and participating in a system that is, killing your people? No, you're not helping. But, I can't tell people what to do. The only thing I can do is give you the information, let you process it, and then let you make the best decisions for your life. But I'm telling you, black people got to get on one accord. Black people got to get um, a strategy together quickly, and we have to educate ourselves about all these different policies that are in place that we didn't know anything about, that are meant to harm us. Because what's happening now is you're seeing, you know, you think about Flint, Michigan, and the contaminated water. You're thinking about, how the poor people are doing down south in Mississippi and Alabama, places that have historic um, poverty, and there's no way for them to get out, and there's nobody to help those people to solve their issues, because we are all stuck in this system of white supremacy. Just depends. Some of us are a little better off and able to move a little more than others, but we all still are hostages. So, for those of us that are trying to do something, you support those people. And, if it's not your cup of tea, don't tear down somebody else that's trying to do something because you disagree with it, because it may be helpful to somebody wherever they are. Um, I try my best not to tear down black people who are doing something for black people, but for biscuit getters, I don't have no problem busting them out. But I try not to even waste my time doing that, because we all have eyes to see, and right now it's so easy to see people who are not um, really serious about fighting white supremacy. People are just clout chasing or want to be a part of the game. We don't have time for that anymore. Like, white supremacy is getting ready to implement or institute a new phase, and it's going to have to do with what we consume. It's going inside of us, and I'm not going to say more because I don't have time for the censoring right now. It's not that video. But after the holidays, after Christmas, after everybody's finished doing whatever, excited and ready to be engaged again, we got to get down to business, because there are some things that are coming down the pipe, and it's been made a conservative and liberal agenda issue, but it's more to it than that, and we need to really talk about it. I've been sharing stuff on Twitter. It's either getting suppressed, people don't read it. Like, y'all need to read. Sometimes I don't say what I want to say. If I share it, I need y'all to read it because it's important and it's a piece of a puzzle. It helps you understand. It's some people, some decent white people that are sounding the alarms about things that are happening in the world that they've been a part of, but now it's about to impact them too. And so I don't discount those reports. I pay attention to everything. And so sometimes it's some information that we need to get from people that are dropping a dime for whatever reason. Take it, get it, read it, digest it, understand we are at war. People are at war with us. They don't care nothing about us. The goal is black genocide. And so if you can't understand that, you can't get down on this channel because I don't have time. Roe versus Wade is about black genocide. Yeah, white women might be able to kill some babies, have some abortions, black women too. But the big picture is when white women kill their babies and have abortions, that means their numbers go down. When they use contraception, that means their numbers go down. When that means they have to give us contraception, they have to make those options available to us so that our numbers will go down too. And a lot of things are happening around the country and around the globe to black people because of Roe versus Wade, because Roe versus Wade counters white supremacy and decreases their numbers so they can't stay in power. Fewer white boys being born means fewer white men being born. That's the problem. More, lesbians and more of the LGBTQ agenda being pushed and white feminism. That means fewer children being born, or fewer children being born in households where men are, and that's the problem. So it's a whole lot of stuff going on, and I need y'all to read that piece that I wrote, and I need you to understand that this is not our fight. We have a fight, but Roe versus Wade is not our fight, and you gotta really understand that a lot of information that we need is being suppressed. We're using these white systems to communicate, and they're suppressing the information that we need. So I need y'all to not read and get tickled by the things that are readily available and being shared by the dominant society, because what we need to know is old stuff that's coming home to roost. And it's about that time for us to really be, devastated by some of the things that they've had in place. 47 years, usually about 20, every 25, 50 years when it comes to policy, that's when we start seeing the devastating impact of the policy. We're getting ready to start seeing the devastating impact of America's immigration policy and the genocide policies. So pay attention to what's happening. I'm going to be sharing information, but I can't share everything with you. I need you to read what I tell you to read. I need you to do your own research, and I need you to start connecting the dots. We are living the end of the second Reconstruction era, and if Democrats and Republicans have anything to do with it, black people are going to be second-class citizens like we were after we were emancipated and when we lived during Jim Crow. That's the goal. Not only that, they're going to alter our bodies by doing stuff to our food, things that we consume, so that we don't produce, so that they can control us. And everything they do is about control. So pay attention to the things in the media about the biotech industry and nanoparticles and the things that they're doing to um, supposedly address health issues and develop innovative ways to deal with internal health issues. It's not what you think it is. So thank y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all so much. Support Black creatives. Support my channel. Make sure you like the page, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Read the stuff that I have in the descriptions, and so you can get a kind of a really good understanding of what's happening now. Because while this Roe versus Wade fight is beginning now, it is intentional because it's going to lead us to 2022. And in 2022, that's when everything is going to change. The Republicans are going to get power, and then you're really going to see a dismantling of all progress that has been made. And then by 2024 is when you'll start seeing, um, I don't know. I'm just assuming that Donald Trump is going to run for president again. There's nothing stopping him, and I don't see the Democrats were not able to get anything accomplished when it comes to um, things that would help them win and stay in power and counter this other white supremacy. So, again, they're all on the same team. It is what it is. We have to just prepare. So, come January, I'm going to be talking more about what we can do to prepare, things we need to buy and have in our house, things that we need to start doing in the way of buying food and becoming more self-sufficient, growing things, and creating these freedom cells and these black networks so that you can have a group of people that you can rely on locally. And then we're still always going to be talking about politics, but at this point, it's just to stay on top of what's coming down the pipe, for us. So, enjoy your weekend as much as you can. There ain't really that much to be joyous about. We're just kind of hanging in here right now. But I just want to tell y'all that, if we come together and stand together and support each other and help people who are trying to do things to make the system better, we good. But if we don't fund it, if we don't support it, and if we don't create codes to keep out spies and other troublemakers who will dismantle whatever we create, we're just gonna be walking around in circles again. So, black people gotta get it in their spirit. If you want progress, you gotta pay for it. Jews don't ask us for no money to help them build their yeshivas, their schools, and their community centers. And they don't ask us for nothing. The Asians don't ask us for nothing, but you know what they do? They do come put businesses in our communities and make money off of us. So do the Jews. So do everybody. Everybody milks us, and we don't benefit from it in any kind of way. And then they go on and they collectively put their money together and pursue their agendas. They have agendas, they have a vehicle, they have a plan. We haven't had that. Our plan was to fight with white supremacy for their stuff, and that hasn't worked. We integrated, we tried it, it's not working. We are poor, we are dumber. Our children are weaker because they're more emotional and all distraught because they've been beat down by white supremacy in the system. Um, we just got to get our stuff together, and we can't do that until we get comfortable with the fact that you have to invest in you. You have to invest, and you have to trust people you don't know, and you're gonna have to trust people who may fail. But everybody who tries something don't always, find success the first time. But if you don't trust them and if you don't give them a chance to work it out, you'll never know if they're gonna, if we're gonna be able to get this thing off the ground. And one thing for sure is when white people give you money, it's gonna be successful because they're gonna hold us accountable. With us, we don't always know that. And, with us, it's more of a sacrifice because we don't have the money. But we have to find ways to invest in each other here and abroad so that we can have um, systems in place to sustain us when white supremacy starts locking us out. Because eventually we're going to be locked out. A part of the genocidal program of America is, food. They're going to starve us to death. These people buying up land farmland so they can make sure they have control over the food sources. You don't have land or have property where you can grow stuff, you're going to starve to death. Um, Grocery stores are helping with insurrections. You know, the heirs of Publix funded Donald Trump's January 6th rally that they had before um, the insurrection. Just think, you know, if she all in the tank for him, she'd easily be like, no Negroes in my grocery store. And what y'all gonna do? You know, what if other grocery stores follow suit? Blacks got to come in the back of the store. You gonna go to the back of the store to get your family some food, or you gonna start hunting and you know, growing your own food. Hopefully, you've already been growing your own food, or figuring out some other channels. Maybe you work with a community garden, you know, whatever you got to do, but y'all better be trying to figure out how y'all going to survive, because these white people are on a mission to stay in power, and we don't have any power. We don't have any people in power who work for us. All the black people that are in power, pretty much in politics, work for white people, white systems, and white supremacy. So if you're not in tune with what is happening, you're going to be caught out there in the cold. Your family gonna starve to death. You probably gonna be dead because you don't have no weapons to protect yourself. You don't have any um, connections, because now most of us are disconnected. We are connected by social media and our devices. But do you have any community connections? If you don't have those, you need to be building those now and getting with people that you can trust, because um, you know, once everything happens, it's gonna happen fast. I don't know if you've studied how, you know, governments transition, but we're in the transition phase. Like, this not getting ready to end. If you haven't seen now that America cannot stop white supremacy, it can't stop itself. I don't know what to tell you. We don't have no power. We can't stop these white people from doing nothing. They can't even stop each other from killing their kids at school. So how we gonna stop them? We can't stop them. We can't stop the police. We don't have any power in the criminal justice system. We don't have any power in the political system. All we have is the power to gather amongst ourselves, develop our own means of communications, which means you need to be, you know, joining Black social media um, companies so that we have a different way to communicate. We need to be trying to figure out, you know, where the black newspapers are and work for those, or fund those, help support them, subscribe, make donations. Black investigative journalists who are independent, support them, because they provide a valuable service to our community. Like people who teach you know, first response, holistic medicine. Like, there's a whole industry of people and things that are available that we don't take advantage of, or we don't support, because we feel like it's somebody else's job, or we don't value it. We value white people stuff. And you know, the day is coming where that stuff is not, it's going to be obsolete. Like, it's not going to be for us anymore, and they're not going to want us there. They don't want us, our money. They're gonna treat you like crap, like they used to do during Jim Crow. Those days are coming back, and um, you know, if you're not preparing for how to transition to when those times come, I don't know what to tell you. And if you don't have a passport and you ain't trying to flee, you're gonna starve to death. You know what happens when you go to work, and Juan tells you that, you know, your job, you're no longer needed, and you come in, and you know, everybody in the office is going transitioning. The office is transitioning to all Hispanic staff, or you have an Indian person and all they'll hire are other Indian people or white people, or they decide, hey, we're going to make all the jobs in the office temp, and they outsource your job to someplace else. Um, Maybe they give you a job to illegal immigrants, because that's the plan. They're getting ready to start giving illegal immigrants privileges that you have to have as a citizen. When they do, that means you are going to be relied upon less, and it's going to harm us. Are you prepared for that? Um, are you raising your children to transition to this new society that's going to be tech dominated and automate? Just automate it. If you're not raising your kid to go into the right careers, and I'm gonna do a video on how you learn what direction that you need to be giving your children towards. We can do the same old thing. You can, it ain't but so many clothes you can make. Ain't but so much fish and chicken you're gonna be able to fry. It's, we don't really need no more rappers. We oversaturated with entertainment in our community. We need people who can build stuff. We need people who can, fix things. We need people who can repair the stuff that we already got, because we're not going to probably have the resources to be able to go out and buy new stuff. We need people who can build houses and help us develop land. We need planners for cities and counties. We need people who understand first response and emergency preparedness. We have those people in our community, but right now they're working for the predominant um, society, because we don't have any money and we don't invest in things like that for ourselves. We feel like the government, the dominant society, is supposed to provide those things for us. Well, if you don't start transitioning your mind, you ain't gonna have nothing, because these people can really take everything away from us. And again, read what's going on with Roe versus Wade. Read Henry Kissinger's plan, the Food for Birth Control Genocide program. And let's start connecting the dots, because this is not the only thing that they've done. They do things like that here in America, but once you start seeing the big picture is white supremacy is fighting to survive, and if that means that they got to take us out, we're gonna be taken out. So get it, get it in your spirit. You gotta read. You gotta buy books. You got to go to the library. You got to get online. Use your computer to do some research and read some stuff besides comedy and watching trash TV. We got enough entertainment for if we don't ever have no more, we good on it. So turn your TVs off. Stop entertaining yourselves with things that don't matter, and learn, because it's things coming down the pipe that are going to directly impact us, and we are behind the power curve when it comes to understanding what's happening, and that's dangerous, because we're not getting ready to be um, like the second biggest minority group or the first biggest minority group in the country. We're going to be bumped down to 3 or 4. When that happens, nobody cares about what you say. It's just going to be, you know, obsolete. Nobody pays you any mind, and things go downhill from there. So let's use our power and our time wisely, figure out what's happening in this world, and support black people who are supporting black people, not spies, not black people um, working for the dominant society, and not black people who are operating in spaces funded by white people, because they don't necessarily have our best interest at heart. So, have a good weekend, study, read the piece, pay attention to what's happening in the news. Roe versus Wade is important, but it's not our fight. And just know that Joe Biden is no different from Tucker Carlson. They all friends, and if they all friends, that means they ain't our friends. So just get in your spirit, and don't let other people bully you into thinking you gotta make a choice between evil and evil, or people that are trying to harm you and other people that are trying to harm you. You don't have to choose either one. So enjoy your weekend. Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. Like it, share it, subscribe to the channel. I promise I will not waste your time. And thanks again for checking in with me.